Hello, we're back for another episode of Smalltalk. Welcome to Indie Game Social Club's bi-weekly catch-up chat, Smalltalk podcast. I am today's Stream Master and Destiny Dungeon Daddy, Brian. With me today, I have the lovely, the beautiful, the slightly more svelte and robust Ilker. Say hello,
Hello.
Ilker.
Hello,
That's
hello.
right. We're a book club with no books. If you're joining us for the first time, we started last year as an excuse to finally play the Steam games that we bought on sale years ago. And then we discuss. Oh, actually, normally we discuss a game like a book club once a month, and we just had our discussion on Sunday, and that game was what game, Ilker? It's been so long.
Yeah, I just
Cultist Simulator.
Thank you. I was like, what was the game we talked about like 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was Cultist Simulator, published by or developed by Weather Factory, designed by Alexis Kennedy, released 2018, and it was a very polarizing game. Because what would you say? It's a very love-hate game. Like you love it for a certain reason, but it was very flawed, right?
Yeah, I would say that. Like, for my part, I liked everything about that game except the gameplay. But everything else really good. But yeah, like if you're out for a single player card game with some really good atmosphere, give it a try.
Yes,
Definitely.
You might be wondering why the both of us are wearing black, and that is because coincidence. I had no idea. But besides that, it's a very special occasion because it is our 10th episode.
Yay. We did 10 of these.
10 of these small talk episodes, and we only fucked up 5 of them. So it's good. Good ratio.
Yeah, I think that's a good ratio.
Yeah. Not bad. But yeah, so our next discussion I think is going to be early July because it's midsummer, is it, for Sweden, and so we don't want to take precedence over that. Not like anyone would, but it's a very good time in Sweden for sure.
It is. A lot of murder.
And our theme for this month, and we're still accepting submissions. I need to kind of dive in, and that is space. And I have one that I might mention today on our talk.
Do you like? What would you like? What is a good space game?
I think
like what's your suggestion?
It is so up in the open. I like I kind of like walking sims, and there was a great space game I played fairly recently that was like kind of puzzly. God, I can't remember, but it reminded me of that movie Moon with Sam Rockwell, where it was just a guy stuck on his own in a space station. It was really cool, kind of like the name escapes me. It'll come to me, but a little bit 2001: A Space Odyssey, but there was a disaster on a space station, and you play as the computer, not unlike HAL 9000 in 2001, and you were trying to like solve the mystery for the people in there.
This came out a few years ago, yeah?
Yeah, a few years ago. It was free on Game Pass. It just looked really cool. But yeah, I like that one. And one game that I'm excited to play that I'll mention towards the end when we do that today is something I'm going to submit. I'm really stoked about it. I just like good stories. And
yeah, I think I want to play something with an actual story this time.
Yeah, like space.
I hope we can get that. Yeah,
usually space games like tend to be ripe with good story opportunities. You know.
Yeah.
So that I'm stoked about. But let's move on to what we've been up to in general. What have you been up to? What's going on in your life, Ilker?
I'm just working. It's a boring answer, but all I do is work, work, and work. And here's a life hack or a tip to anyone working with clients: don't ever give out your private number to your clients.
Oh, never!
They will call you, or they will also text you. I love all my clients. Want that on my record, but
but you should also love your own personal life. That's a piece of advice right there. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a few hectic days. But like my company gave us 1 day off with salary as a compensation for last year.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm taking that. I'm gonna take that on Friday this week. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my free day. Maybe I go visit a museum or go to the amusement park. I'm not like I haven't decided yet. It really depends on the weather. But like these past few days, I've been.
When was the last time you went to the Fotografiska Museum?
I think it was last year.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
I went there
I cannot remember.
when I stayed in Stockholm for an internship, and it was one of the coolest photography museums I've ever been to. They had such a great curation of photos that were just so visually striking, and it was really well laid out.
Yeah, I think last time I was there, I cannot remember any of the photographers that were exhibiting, but they've had a lot of work from one of my favorite photographers, Martin Parr. Martin Parr, yeah.
Yeah, I forget who the photographer was when I went, but they had this amazing exhibit where, normally you have like wildlife photography. It's taken with this really, really long lens, and they all kind of look the same. This photographer took portrait lenses to photograph animals. And if you know what a portrait lens is, you have to get close to the subject. So they were photographing lions and gorillas like they would humans. So they had these really like human-like qualities. You can see the textures and the wrinkles in their face and the wrinkles in their hands, and the way the lion looked was just like so striking. It was insane. It was such a cool experience. Cool. God, I can't.
Yeah, I might go to memory. Yeah, well, I used to be really into photography, and like I did a lot of that in what do you call that in English? In high school, going to the gymnasium. I think that's like 11th grade, 12th grade.
Yeah,
something like that. And we used to like develop our own photos. We had a development lab in school.
Nice. Yeah, that was like my favorite class. We did the old school style black and white photography.
Yeah, me too. And
very cool.
Maybe that's something I'll pick up again. We'll see.
Nice.
Analog photography.
Such a hipster.
Photography. I am, yeah.
I have been. I took like a 1 month hiatus because like a month ago, 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, I got my second dose of Moderna, and that put me out. I was like just so delirious, and like I had every possible symptom you can get from the vaccine. I was practically lying on my couch writing my own will. I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like, oh well, that wasn't so bad. And then a week after that was like the sickest I was in like a year. And a week after that, I got like the worst food poisoning.
Oh shit! Yeah, right.
And I was out for like a week. Yeah, and I had like it triggered vertigo, and so I'm still not 100% right from that. But that just meant that I could not rollerblade. But now I'm back in action, baby. So I started rollerblading again this week. That was cool.
I saw your Instagram, your fail videos, and then that transition into you actually getting better. It was actually really nice to see that. Those 15 seconds of development.
Very ungraceful, but I mean, like that's rollerblading, man. Like no one is ever like 100%, right? Like for me, it's like I'm like 80-20. I like miss 80% of the time, and 20% I do it and I make it. But
do you hurt yourself a lot, or do you like?
The thing about it is, back when I used to rollerblade, I rollerbladed for maybe like 7 or 8 years straight, where that was like my only mode of transportation. So what you do, kind of like stunt people, is you learn how to fall and eat shit without hurting yourself so much, right? So it still hurts, but when I fall, I make sure that nothing breaks for the most part, so I can fall and tumble and I get right up just fine, and it doesn't. It might hurt in the moment, but it's not bad.
You get good at falling.
Yeah, you get great at falling. You just fail successfully.
Exactly.
But yeah, other than that, I've been playing more games and catching up on my backlog of Steam. So with that said, shall we transition into the games we've been playing this week?
Yeah, let's do that. Sure.
Ilker. I accidentally muted us. Tell me what you've been playing this week.
So I've been playing a few games. Last night, me, my brother, and his friend played the Crusader Kings 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's a game by Paradox Interactive, which is a Swedish studio.
Swedes are killing it.
Yeah, they are making really good games, and they make a lot of like strategy games, I will say.
Wait, so
Which
sorry
is
for me to interrupt, but is Stockholm the hub of indie games? Like, is there an industry of indie games in Stockholm, or is it somewhere else in Sweden? Like, you know how like tech is kind of centralized in the San
yeah.
Francisco Bay Area here, you know?
I'm not sure about that. Like, I'm probably the wrong person to ask that because I'm not in the gaming industry. But like, we have Paradox, we have Dice, we have Fat Shark,
Like the
we
big
have
ones.
Starbreeze. Yeah, but like they're not. I wouldn't say they're indie developers, but
Right.
definitely not Dice.
But definitely, yeah,
but,
like gaming for sure is a hub
yeah,
in Sweden. Yeah,
it is for larger companies. Then you have a few down in southern Sweden as well. I think in Malmö and maybe something in Gothenburg. Yeah, like you have like 4 really big companies in Sweden that have made like really known games. So
nice.
yeah, I would probably say that Stockholm is somewhat of a gaming hub or game industry hub.
Tell me about what do you call it? Crusader Kings. Refresh my memory because I
Crusader
bought
Kings.
it. I feel like, but I don't
You
think I've
did?
touched it.
Well, then we
No,
need to.
Divinity. I bought Divinity. I always get those games confused.
That's something.
Very
Something
different.
Else. So, Crusader Kings, Crusader Kings 3 rolls off your tongue. Is a grand strategy game. Is played in real time, but you can still pause. But what we did is I played it with my brother and his friend, and we played a multiplayer session. So it takes place in the medieval ages in Europe and Asia. And what you do is there's like point at a map and choose one county or duchy that you want to play as. And man, there's like probably over a thousand like counties and duchies going on at that like in the 800s after Christ.
Oh shit!
So they're like you can pick anything you want. So we all picked like one in West Francia, which is like the Western France. And we like, oh, let's do this like drinking theme. So I picked bourbon, which is my county, and my brother picked Guinness, and his friend picked I think it was Armagnac, which is
nice. Wait, what's the end game goal of Crusader Kings? Just make it as far down with your civilization as possible.
Exactly. They try to take over the world.
Is there an end game? Like, does it trigger a cutscene or
I don't know? Like, because
losing,
it's a sandbox. Like, it is a sandbox game basically. So no, I wouldn't say there's an ending to the game. You just fuck around and try to conquer the world basically.
Just like politicians.
Exactly. So what they did is like the most recent patch, I think they added the character creation, so you can just change your count to look like something else. And my brother, he made his count to look like Andre the Giant, which is also like he gave him the giant trait as well. So he's
awesome.
super big, and he also married a very large lady as well. So
nice.
they're both genetically large. So all their or giants.
Oh, that's right.
So,
I forgot about that.
Like,
you
children,
can breed with purpose, right? Like there's a reason for breeding.
So they're just breeding giant children.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And his friend, like he created this 18-year-old guy who looks like he's 60 and has an eye patch. And like it's long hair and he basically looks like a caveman.
What's the hook of the game for you? What do you love about it?
I think it would be like the randomness in it, because like there's a lot of like systems going on under the hood, but that you can't really see, and you can't really you can affect them, but like since you can't see what's happening, you like one scenario is like yesterday we were playing and there was like a murder going on in my country.
Oh shit!
And I had the choice, like either I just ignore it and the murders continue, or I alert the guards and people will lose some. I will lose some opinion about me because I'm just tightening the security.
Right.
Or I can just like go out straight out and tell everyone like we're looking for a murder, and that would like start some kind of chaos in the country.
Okay.
That was like laying low and like, okay, I'll just like increase security and stuff that. Like, then these murders like kept on happening,
That's
and like got
so
like three
interesting.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my marshal in my like court got murdered. Like fuck, we need to like find this fucking murderer. What's going on? So I
Yeah.
call an investigation and like fuck it, I'm gonna lose opinion in my county, but like fuck it, like let's find this person.
To
And
me,
it turns out,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it turns out it's my wife, the murderer. She's like
No shit. That's so cool.
running around murdering everyone. I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, like I have to prison you. So I threw her in the prison, and like people are expecting something. So I executed
Wow.
her, and because I wanted to remarry. I couldn't divorce her because my bishop didn't allow me to divorce her. So I had to like execute her. I'm sorry, but like that's the
Yeah.
lay of the land.
To me, it feels like this Space 4X board game called Twilight Imperium, where the gameplay inherently is good, not amazing, but
Yeah,
people, it's like the notorious for being this 10-12 hour game. But
yeah,
the reason why people love it is not because the game is like insanely fun, but because you come out of these gameplay sessions with these amazing stories, right? Because it's
exactly. Yeah,
different every time, and like you're like, oh my god, if you hadn't been sleeping in the shadows, you could have helped us, and blah blah blah. But meanwhile, you were building your empire quietly in the corner, and you won. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's like, and then there's
yeah,
negotiation and all that kind of stuff. And it's cool the fact that you can play this particular game with your brother and his friend and stuff like that. Like
yeah. And like
you can have
we're
these
all
stories
doing
together.
our definitely, and like we're all doing our like own thing. But like I asked his friend, like, do you like he has like three daughters and I have like three sons. Do you wanna like arrange a marriage? Like you wanna tie
Ew.
some bands with so, so we did that. Like married I gave away my son, or he gave away his daughter to my son, and we made a pact, and now we're allies. And I'm
Yeah.
like asking my brother, do you wanna join this pact? Like do you because I have the most powerful county of us three, so
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good place to
but
be.
it's yeah, like yeah, definitely. But like that is the thing. I think the same thing we talked about, like the Sunday for the Cultist Simulator, like these stories that you kind of create is driving the game for it. Like because the gameplay is you're just clicking and answering
Yeah.
questions and making decisions.
I mean, it's
Basically,
also a risky thing because it's hard to make that happen organically, right? Because
yeah.
you're leaving so much up to the player to create these experiences
Mm,
for themselves that you can't, I don't know. It's so like, how the fuck do you plan for that, right? As opposed to
yeah,
telling a really well crafted story that only moves one way linearly, right? But you're leaving it to
exactly.
the
Yeah,
player to be like, hey, we think this is fun and we think this is open enough that you can find your own fun however you would like to play it, right?
yeah.
Who would you recommend this game for?
Oh god. It's easy to say. So if you enjoy strategy games, you can try it. But like,
Like
I don't know if you
Civilization kind of gamers?
definitely Civilization,
Yeah.
yeah, that type of game, and fork games, and also like if you like sandbox games where you just like play around and do your own thing, that is definitely a game for you as well. And
Nice.
also, if you're really interested in history, that is like definitely a game for you too. I have a friend that is super interested in history, and we've been talking about Crusader Kings a lot
Oh,
because
that
yeah,
would be really
he's also into that.
fun. What a fun playthrough to I mean, you should stream it because it's like playing Crusader Kings with a historian and like talking about
Oh, we should, yeah,
how these
yeah,
things
because
kind of
like
like play out in real life versus in this game and how
because
realistic
that
it
is like
is.
definitely, and I think one of the things that for me, because this is the first Crusader Kings game I'm playing. My brother played the other ones as well, but for me it was the first one, and like I was so amazed that like you see this map of the world from that time, and you're like all these countries and like regions, they all existed at one point before becoming the countries that we know today.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is like 1,200 years ago. Like it's not that far away,
It really
and it's
isn't.
just like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good history lesson. Also, like if you're interested in like oh shit, like all these small regions, they're actually there was like counties, and they're named after this. Like you and I had this epiphany last time. Like oh, maybe a county is actually uh,
A count
what
is
a
based
count
on a
is. Yeah,
county. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, mind blown. Yeah,
Yeah,
so cool.
and a duchy is then a duchess or a I don't know,
Something
Let's look
about
that up.
Dutch. The
Yeah,
Dutch.
that'll be our learning for it. Like
Yeah, we got to learn
for this
what the
week.
Dutch is. Yeah. Anything else on Crusader Kings 3?
No, not much. That we're probably gonna play that some more tonight. Hopefully,
Awesome.
that's
Cool.
was
It's
fun.
nice to find a sticky game. We have such a wealth of choice these days that it's hard to
We
find a
do,
game
yeah,
that sticks, right?
yeah.
So that's Crusader Kings with
That's
Ilker.
Crusader Kings 3, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'll briefly talk about Catherine Full Body, which I played this Saturday, last
Uh-huh.
Saturday.
Uh-huh.
So I was like at home thinking about maybe I want to play some games. It was getting really late as well, but I didn't want to go to bed and I didn't want to watch a movie. I wanted to do some gaming. And like,
Yep.
what game do I have? And I'm like, oh, right. I bought Catherine Full Body like half a year ago that I haven't touched yet. So I booted up that, and that is a game from Atlas. Atlas also makes the Persona games.
Yeah, it is
Which
one
I
of the
really like.
classic blockbuster indie games, right? It's one of the like around I want to say it
Persona?
probably came out no, Catherine. I want to say it probably came out around like Limbo era, right?
Is it really an indie game? I'm not sure if you would call it an indie game.
Yeah, no. I feel like that's an independent studio at the very least. But no, you're right. I think they've
Could
published
be
some
then.
big box names, but I feel like it plays
Persona
like an
4 and
indie
Persona
game.
5 and 3, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely plays like an indie game for sure. Has indie spirit, we'll say.
Sure. But yeah, like the game is like this. The story of the game is that you play as this character called Vincent, who seems to have a few things on his mind. He's been together with the same girlfriend, Catherine with a K, for a long time, and she's like, she wanna take it to the next level. She wanna get married and have kids and just make a family, build a family. And he's this like classic guy. He's like, oh no, I'm pretty happy where we are right now. I don't want to move forward. So he's struggling with that basically. And meanwhile, people are turning up dead in their beds, all dried
Ooh,
up, and like there's like some weird
interesting.
murder. And
Yeah.
also like in relation to that, he's also starting to have nightmares where he dreams that he's a sheep and he's being chased, and he hears a rumor that if you die in your sleep, you
Die in real
basically die,
life. Yeah.
and die in real life. So the gameplay is actually the dream sequences where it is a puzzle game, so you're trying to like move from the bottom of a pyramid to the top, just the exit. And this pyramid or the ladder is built up of blocks. So what you do is like you climb up the blocks, but you can also pull and drag them and try to like make your own stairs and just try to get to the finish before everything just collapses, because everything is collapsing below you.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it in action. Like I hear the story is incredible. I think it won a shit ton of awards. And it kind of looks like a reverse Mr. Driller. If that makes sense. Mr. Driller, you were like drilling downwards and trying to avoid getting smashed, but this is like you're going up without trying to get smashed, right?
Yeah. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played for like 1 hour or two. I thought the gameplay was okay. I'm still trying to like understand it and like how do I play this the best way? And you like you can really fuck up in that game, and you have like what do you call it, redos that you can just like redo, but you only have like a limited amount of them.
Yeah.
And if you fucked up too much, like it's impossible to go back to a point where you can't unfuck it.
Oh yeah. Those games. I mean, that kind of makes it show its age a little bit because a lot of modern games kind of design around that, right?
Yeah, but like you
getting
just
stuck.
lose and you start over basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, like the story is really intriguing, and for me, it was a really good like late night game to play because of the adult content. Because like he meets Catherine with the sea, and there's like, is there an affair going on or not? And you between the gameplay parts, you have these cutscenes where you hang out with your girlfriend or you hang out with your friends, and you have dialogue options, and depending on what you answer, you get like a good boyfriend, bad boyfriend points or something like that, which will affect the ending, I guess.
Oh, you multiple endings. That's cool.
Yeah, and also what I actually thought was really neat, because since this is a remaster of the original game, they also added like new voice actors for Catherine, the mistress. So like when you first meet her, you get to choose between like, I think it was like 10 different voice actresses, and they all have like different characters to them. And they're like named after like Sweet Devil or Queen of the Night or something like that. So you can just choose what your kink is.
Oh, I see. Nice.
Which is, I thought it was this is like really cool feature.
I love
and
that.
It
I mean,
also
that's
says
super
like the
fun.
voice actor's name. Yeah, it also says the voice actor's name like under it. I was like, oh, cool. This is a cool way to actually give credit. And if you actually like enjoy some of their work, you can like, oh, I'm gonna pick this one because I know the other stuff this person has done. So
yeah. I mean, I think, it's a relatively recent thing where voice actors are starting to get more prominence and credit. Before, it was just like they get paid to do their job, and that's the last you hear of them. But like, I mean, now we get voice acting celebrities like Nolan North, which is kind of cool, and hopefully more, because I don't know any female voice actors' names off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's some that like I really love, but just never knew that it was them doing that particular voice, and it's crazy that like you think of Nolan North and he's in literally every fucking video game that you enjoy, right? Which is pretty wild.
But like that's a cool thing. Like this past few years, I think that they've been like I wouldn't say a resurgence, but they're like definitely hyping up voice actors a lot more, and a lot of them are like nerds just like us, like enjoy playing games, and then they actually work with the gaming industry as well, and making like voice acting. It's super cool. I was watching this can't remember call her name, but she streams Final Fantasy VII. She's the American voice actor for Aerith.
No way.
In
America, Final Fantasy VII, her name was Eris, and then it was a mistranslation from the Japanese Aerith, and they went and did a remake and called her Aerith again. She will always be Eris in my heart. I think Eris sounds cooler.
Yeah, sure, but like also in the Japanese way of saying her name is Erisu, so I guess that is why it is Eris.
Yeah,
I think.
Interesting. Yeah, that's annoying because heiress just sounds like heiress, like you're the heiress to the crown of the king or something like that, right?
Heiress,
and it just sounds more elegant. But Aerith just sounds like a lisp,
Yeah, Aerith.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of ridiculous. So is that Catherine for you? Any other thoughts on it?
No, that's good. I enjoyed playing that game. I haven't played it anymore since then, but I think it's a good late night game. I'm gonna probably play that some more this weekend.
Nice.
The other game that I played last week and actually finished and got 100% is Bowser's Fury.
There we go.
Balls of Fury.
Balls of Fury.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the official name? I'll just call it Bowser's Fury.
I think its official name is Super Mario Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury.
Yeah.
You can say Balls of Fury. That's okay.
There we go.
That's a game by Nintendo. If you missed that, and it was bundled together with the exactly the indie game publisher Nintendo. That was bundled together with Super Mario 3D World, the remake or the remaster they did for Nintendo Switch, and you played that game as well. I really enjoyed that.
It's really fun. I think it's the right length because I can see how the core gameplay loop can get repetitive, right?
Sure.
But what is the core gameplay loop for those who haven't played?
It is an open world Super Mario, basically, where you once again collecting stars or cat shines, going from island to island. You can you can explore the world as you please, but the thing is, like, Bowser is on he's on a timer, and the thing is, like, when his time is up, he spawns, and he's just super huge and mad and just spewing fire everywhere and just trying to kill you. You just need to duck that and hide until he gets the fuck out and goes to sleep again, and you have like 5 or 10 minutes more of gameplay until he respawns.
Yeah, to me, when I was playing, that it's cool, but if you're just trying to accomplish something, like just trying to get a cat shine, that gets so annoying. It gets really, really
Definitely.
annoying. But with that
I
said,
don't,
like when you are not and you're going between places, it's nice to kind of like switch things up a little bit. I thought that was kind of neat.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah, that was a perfect little game. Like I don't know why I waited so long to play it, but that was like, mwah.
yeah,
Really enjoyed it. So I was like, once I finished, I was like, oh, I want to play some more. So I actually got all the 100 catch shines in the game.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and I think like it felt a little bit like a demo of
yeah,
what to come from the
yeah.
Super Mario series. Did you get that feeling as
Yeah,
well?
totally. Like they're experimenting
Yeah,
with something, or they experimented with it,
yeah.
and they're like, you know what? I don't see this becoming a full game, but it could. It's
Mm,
gone so far. Let's just make it an expansion because they're
hmm.
taking a lot of the best ideas from Super Mario 3D World, and
Yeah.
then making it into the Odyssey style movement. Like they kind of simplify the movement a little bit from Odyssey,
Hmm.
but it is really fun. But yeah, I can see how it feels. There's something missing from making it feel like this fully formed meaty game, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the movement. I think the gameplay is like straight up Super Mario World 3D.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just built on that engine, or
Yeah. They
um,
just made it 3D instead of isometric view like the
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And
But yeah,
single player.
that was fun. But what is your favorite Mario game? Not counting
Ooh.
Mario Kart or
I
the tennis
will
or the golf.
right.
Or
Platformers, I will always
yeah.
go Super Mario 3. That was like just
Hmm.
that was a game that I wanted so bad. And if you were a
Yeah.
kid of the 80s and 90s, seeing the commercial for
Hmm.
Super Mario 3, where like you see these kids chanting Mario, Mario, and then they zoom out and the whole like you see Earth and everyone's like shaped like Mario's face basically.
Yeah.
And then before it even came out, the movie with Fred Savage called Wizard, where they
Uh-huh.
debuted. It was essentially a Super Mario 3 commercial in movie format.
Okay.
They debuted Super Mario 3 and everyone was like, "Oh my god." So if you can see the line between the first Super Mario Brothers, right, where you're jumping on
Mm,
Goombas and shells, you get a
yeah.
fire flower, and then you go Super Mario 2 was kind of a letdown, then you go to Super Mario 3, it's a completely
Hmm.
it's they made this quantum leap. The graphics were incredible compared to the first one. You
Yeah.
get like 5 different suits like the frog, Tanuki, the raccoon, like Hammer Brother, like so many different
Yeah.
suits and the level variety. I think at that point they had established like what Super Mario was going to be for the future,
Definitely.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, I would say Super Mario Odyssey was very enjoyable. It was like a love letter
Hmm.
to Mario fans. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we
Definitely.
know that you grew up with us, and here's some like tidbits because we know that you've been with us since the beginning." And like
Yeah.
at some points, Mario Odyssey made me really emotional. Like, have you
Like
played through
that
it?
whole. Yeah, I haven't like that whole stage where Daisy is singing and you're
New
like
Donk City.
that whole, yeah, and you Dunk City, and like that whole like celebration stage. We're
Yes.
just like running through all the way to the top of the building and going
And you
through the
go through
concert. That was
Donkey
like,
Kong, yeah,
yeah,
like
and it was like that
2D.
was such, as you said, like such a good like celebration of that game, and that should have been like the for the 35th anniversary, or maybe
Yeah.
it's what was for the 30th. No,
I'm not sure.
anyway,
Maybe, possibly. It did feel like at least 5 years ago. But yeah, it was such
yeah,
an incredible experience, and I'm like, man, it made me tear up so bad. It was good. Like,
yeah,
I think for many people, Mario is the Mickey Mouse for gamers. Or Nintendo
yeah,
is the Disney of
for sure,
games, right? Like they have a really
yeah,
good way of curating their intellectual property and like really high standards for the most part. High standards of like sequels, right? Like
sure,
sometimes to their detriment, they never want to retread the same ground. They always want to progress and try new things.
yeah,
Sometimes you want the same old shit, but like
yeah, yeah,
every now and then you get experimental shit that we never asked for, like Bowser's Fury, and it's a hit. You know.
yeah, definitely, yeah. That's a
Um,
good two picks.
yeah, that's Bowser's Fury. Anything else on that?
Nothing else.
Okay,
That's about it. That's my 2 past weeks. How
great.
about you, Ryan? What have you been playing? You been
Me, me,
playing some indie
me.
games?
Let me start by saying I have played some, very limited,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, I wanted to talk about this movie I saw the other day. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
It is a movie. It's a movie based on a Swedish poem called Aniara.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
I haven't heard about either poem or the movie. I'm sorry. I'm a bad Swede.
Oh, no worries. It's a Swedish poem called Aniara that was written in the 50s. And the general premise is like the resources on Earth has been used up for some reason. They don't really get into it, but for some reason humanity needs to leave and colonize Mars.
Wait, have you read the poem? Is this actually like the content of that poem?
You give me too much credit. But yeah, apparently the movie's a really good rendition of the poem. So humans need to leave, so they all take a space elevator to this like gigantic city-sized ship that is bound for Mars to colonize it, right? On the way there, they are going to hit a piece of space debris, so they fire all their engines to like divert, and in the process, they get hit. Their engine gets hit by a piece of space debris, and they have to eject the engine in order to survive, so it doesn't blow up, right? What that does is it leaves them open to no movement whatsoever. So they're literally just drifting through space, and the premise is, look, we can make it back home, but we have to wait to meet a celestial body like a moon or an asteroid to use its gravity to slingshot us back home, and that can take up to 2 years. And you'd probably have no problem watching because it's all in Swedish. Like I was having trouble because they talk so fast in Swedish. I was reading subtitles.
It's actually Swedish?
Yes. Aniara.
Huh.
And then well, go ahead.
Oh, go on. No, go ahead.
Oh, but the twist of the poem is like they don't meet a celestial body. So you see what happens after 2 years, what happens after 5 years, what happens after 25 years. The evolution of society and humanity, like how they deal with knowing that maybe we will hit something, maybe we won't. Like what happens when there's hope and what happens when that hope collapses, and how does humanity move forward? And I had such a good time with that movie. I thought it was really, really good. I will just never watch it again. It's one of those things like it was so heavy and it's like, oh God, you know.
When is it from?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me pull it up. Aniara was a 2018 sci-fi film directed by Pella Quagerman and Hugo Lilia. I think I butchered that minimally.
It sounded.
Seems like cinematography was by a woman, which is nice. Sophie Winquist. Which is good. Soundtrack was pretty good. I recommend it if you can find it streaming. It was a very good watch, and I highly recommend it.
Cool. That actually sounds really good.
If you have a nice Sunday with a cognac in hand and you want to just kind of unwind and go through what I love about sci-fi is it proposes a very good sci-fi proposes a thought experiment. Like everything is normal, but what if we changed one thing, right? So like society is normal, humanity is normal, but like what if we had to leave Earth, right? Yeah. So that's Aniara, and I had a really good time with that movie. It was fantastic. Now on the games I've played. Yesterday I fired up Don't Starve Together. Have you ever played Don't Starve?
Is there a sequel to Don't Starve?
Don't Starve Together was a free upgrade expansion to Don't Starve, I believe.
I never played any of them, so but I know what game it is.
Yes, it was a survival video game developed by Clay Entertainment. Came out in 2013, so that was a while ago. Goodness gracious, that's a long time ago. Indie game. It is one of the darlings of the survival crafting genre. I would say one of the popular ones. It has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. They constantly put up free, if not affordable, updates to add a lot to the game. My friend, if it's your first introduction into survival crafting, my friend that played, he's like, "Oh, this is just like Animal Crossing," and that's a perfect analogy, right? So if you like Animal Crossing, but you want to add some survival elements, like, hey, you gotta make sure that you eat. You gotta make sure that your mental health is right. So like, if your mental health is going down, you can pick flowers to kind of boost your own morale, that kind of stuff. Tell stories at the campfire. Yeah, it's really neat. My
What
only
is the end?
Go ahead.
Sorry, what is the end game of that?
I
Like,
don't know. I think it is.
is it like Animal Crossing where there's like no end game? Just
I believe it's like Animal Crossing, but this game,
yeah.
anytime they release a update, they also release a really beautiful animated trailer to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if you reach a certain end game tidbit that you get to see a cool animation trigger or something like that. But you'll see in the trailer that it's just really charming. It oozes with charm. It's cute, and also like it has an Edward Gorey type art style where it's kind of gothic and Tim Burton-y at the same time. And they talk, but when they talk, it's like Charlie Brown, where the people sound like wah 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 wah. You know?
That's pretty cool.
It's cool, yeah. I've been having a good time with it. It plays up to 6 players. We played with 3 last night.
Oh, okay.
And it's really fun.
So, like, do you like do you cooperate, or like is it?
Yes, you
trying to, like,
cooperate and
get other people die.
No, it behooves you to work together, because when someone dies, they're just a ghost, and it's possible for you to come back, but as a ghost, you're kind of useless. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
So you can either craft something that would resurrect your friend, or you need to like explore as a ghost and find an altar to resurrect yourself, and then you wake up with nothing, basically. I will say it was or still is on sale on Steam for like $5. And if you buy Don't Starve Together, it comes with a free copy. So if you're interested, I will throw you my free copy and we can play together sometime.
Oh, I think I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like survival crafting is one of the new fun genres that I've discovered that I enjoy.
Yeah.
As long as it's the right balance. Like, fuck Ark. Ark sucks. I hate waking up naked on a beach.
We still haven't tried. We still haven't tried Valheim.
Valheim, yeah. I think I'll wait on sale because it looks a little too much like Ark for my taste, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that might be.
Yeah, I mean, also, Valheim fell off a steep cliff. Remember, there was a hype for like a month. No, everyone was talking about it. Then until you mentioned it, I forgot it existed. You know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone play that for a while. My brother used to play that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool, so we'll see where it goes. Is it still early access?
Yeah, I think so. It is.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's Don't Starve. Highly recommend it if you're into the survival crafting and want to have an Animal Crossing-like experience, but different, a little bit more chaotic and fun. Give it a try. That's cool. Don't Starve Together. And finally, the game that I played last night with friends is Destiny once again. And more specifically...
you're back into Destiny.
Always, man. That's like my go-to. I have my weekly chores that I do in Destiny. There's always something for me to do. A new season started up, so there's new grind for weapons, which is nice. The thing about Bungie is they just started, or fairly recently, maybe the last 2 years, this format where they have seasonal content, not unlike Fortnite, but they use that as a storytelling experience. So it feels like a TV series, right? Where, this happens this week, and next week, like someone comes in and helps you and says there's new loot here, and these people are fighting, and you see how the story unfolds. But more specifically, I went through this dungeon. If you're familiar with World of Warcraft style stuff, there is a dungeon in Destiny 2 called the Prophecy, and that is like end game tier stuff. So you have to bring your best loadouts. You got to min max the shit out of your shit before you even step into this dungeon. And
sounds like a dungeon slash raid.
Yeah, exactly. And so the gameplay I'm showing right now is someone soloing, which I don't understand how that's even possible because the 3 of us died so many times.
Yeah.
And these are friends that I introduced to Destiny like maybe 3 months ago, and they really love it. They fucking love the game. They love the grind for the loot. Really fun stuff. They played this dungeon with me, and it retired them. They're like, I have no desire to play that game ever again. I was like, holy shit! Like, it ruined the game for them. That's how difficult this dungeon was for them. It can be really tough, but unfortunately, I chose a very difficult dungeon that was basically bullet hell. If you don't have a very specific play style, if you are kind of like sit back and snipe, this dungeon is not for you. And it really ruined it for my friend. And my other friend who gets overwhelmed really easily, and he has issues with anxiety. Like he he stressed out and he noped, and so they
God.
rage quit and deleted the game, and so I have 2 less people to play Destiny with nowadays.
Oh no! Well, maybe they'll come back. I mean,
Nope,
usually
they have no desire,
reaction.
none whatsoever. It's the end of an era for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that said, there's still
that.
plenty of people to play this game.
You had a good run.
I love it.
Yeah.
I still love it. It's got a lot of shit.
I thought you did a lot of I thought you did a lot of PvP in that game.
I do.
I thought that was your
no.
thing.
God, no. I actually don't like PvP. I think it's a necessary evil to get certain PvP specific weapons that you can bring into PvE. But I don't like it. It gets too sweaty. There are a lot of tryhards, and I hate getting teabagged, and that happens sometimes when you're doing really well. You get teabagged often.
Yeah.
And so I'm I either do amazing and I feel like a god, or I'm I die all the time without firing a shot. I'm what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know?
But why is teabagging a thing in game? Why is that so provocative? Because
it started in Halo, I want to say, right? Because the teabagging physics in Halo was such that when you came down on someone, it moved their body, so it looked like you were legitimately defiling their body, and sometimes your nuts would stick to their corpse and make them move.
Was it Halo or was it Counter-Strike? Because
I think I want to say it must have started with Halo and then it moved to any other first-person shooter that had a crouch.
But the thing is,
feature.
It moved on to fighting games as well.
Did it really?
In fighting games is also a really inappropriate thing to do. Apparently, I accidentally did that a few years ago when I was trying to get back into Street Fighter. And I was just smashing the down button because I was just bored. I'm waiting and then I'm basically just teabagging from my from my end of the
the
screen.
Yeah,
and the person gets really mad and just leaves the match.
Oh,
I just started reading on Reddit and people talking about teabagging and oh, this is actually a thing. I didn't know
games. I had no
and
idea.
I felt bad. I didn't mean to offend him. Pressing the down button.
It's the taunt emote before there were emotes, That's what it was.
Yeah.
Now you can have be a legitimate asshole and have a taunt emote, but
exactly.
Yeah. But nothing enrages me more than a teabag for sure. It's just the least classy thing you can do.
The thing is, if I didn't know what it was, it wouldn't bother me. I wish I was just oblivious. But yeah, now that I play Street Fighter and people are teabagging when I'm also getting my ass handed to me, that's the worst thing.
Feels bad, man.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, Destiny, I love what they're doing with the game. They've had their ups and downs, and I think it's the best the game has been in a very long time. They've just released a new subclass. I love min-maxing and the idea that you are with your friends and everyone is at the top of their game and trying really hard is really fun. And again, it's one of those 4X gaming experiences. You come out of a raid with a story, oh, we were down and everyone was dead and you were about to die, but you had that last, your super popped and then you were invincible just enough to do damage, DPS on the boss, and we won. And I love that kind of stuff.
But that is MMOs in general, I think, at least raiding, because you can have those stories and even if you're playing especially if you're playing a support character, when you're playing as a tank or you're playing as the healer, because you can pull off some shit and basically save the raid from wiping.
Yes.
And you have those things, and even if you're a DPS that has some cool mechanics or abilities to actually help the rest of the raid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be the main draw of these type of games.
Yeah,
I would love to play Destiny. The idea of playing Destiny, I really enjoy the idea of playing it, but for me to invest a time into something like that,
it can be a time suck
Warcraft
for sure.
The thing is, I played World of Warcraft for 15 years? 14 years. I don't know if I can ever get back into that type of gaming again.
Yeah, I don't see how if you are into one MMO, you can do another, because MMOs in general, by nature, it's a lifestyle game. You have to invest. It has to be a part of your normal gameplay routine, right? In order to keep up, at least. I mean, the thing about Destiny is that there are things for everyone to enjoy. So if you just like PvP, you can hop in for 20 minutes, have a ton of fun, and leave. If you just like doing a mission and hopping out, there's that too. But I think for me, where Destiny shines is the end game content, which is the dungeons, the raids, those group experiences, And so for that, you need a lifestyle for sure. You know.
Definitely, and I don't think I have that lifestyle anymore.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it was
Totally.
awesome when I was 18, 19, and
Absolutely.
and like we playing with my 6 friends and we're like doing dungeons. That was one of my best gaming years of my life.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't think that will ever come back.
Agreed. Absolutely. But yeah, so that was the Destiny 2 Prophecy Dungeon.
Cool.
My gripe with Destiny is that for newcomers, it's not very newcomer friendly. It is. There's just so much. There's 7 years of content at this point, and like to try to jump in and figure out all their menu systems, I still don't have everything down. It's hard to like. How do you explain this entire world of mechanics and armor and currency to someone that is completely green? It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I guess so. That does it for games I've been playing, games you've been playing. Shall we transition to games we've been looking forward to playing?
Good transition. Yeah.
There we go. What are you looking forward to playing?
I think I would say there's 2 games that I want to play this coming 2 weeks. More Crusader Kings with my bro and his friend. And next week, Guilty Gear Strive has its supposed release. It was delayed. It was supposed to be released much earlier.
Was there a reason for the delay?
I cannot recall that if what the reason was, but yeah, they delayed it to June. So hopefully it releases next week and I can play that. Nice. And maybe I can get you to play some fighting games as well with me.
Maybe. There is a fighting stick that I want so bad. It is made by this company called 8-Bit Do. They do a lot of retro style controllers.
Oh yeah, I think you might have showed me that.
I want it so bad. The thing about it is just so nicely done. And the way you switch between X input and PlayStation or Switch input, it also changes the button names. So like when you switch it to X input mode, the Y is Y and the X is X. But when you switch it to like Switch mode, it changes the button layout visually, so it corresponds with it. It's hard to explain, but it's very cool. And it's $89, and I can't justify a purchase right now.
Yeah. They usually are a bit pricey, especially the better ones.
Oh, it looks so sexy.
But for me, it's like once I went into stick. Went into stick.
Once you go stick, you never go thick. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. It's really hard for me to get back and play with a controller. Like for me, I can't pull anything off with a controller. I'm like a newborn, basically,
like a baby.
But that is a game that I'm looking forward to. Also, Resident Evil: The Village, I think it's called.
Ooh, yeah.
I think I want to get that game, and I'm thinking about getting it on PC. I was looking at because my PC is old. I did some updates recently, and I was like, I think my computer can handle it. So I'm thinking about like just getting it on Steam and then hooking it up on my TV and playing on the couch. Maybe this Friday, but we'll see if I do that. But
I know I want to play that game. It looks incredible. It's been getting great reviews. People are having a lot of fun with it. And but I just know I'm not going to get to it anytime soon because I have so many games that I'm working on right now. So I'm just going to wait for the next sale and pick it up then. But I fully intend on playing the game. It looks great.
Yeah. Really great. Again, I heard so much good things about it. So I'm like, I'm really excited to play this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that this week and we'll see. What about you? Any games you're excited about playing?
Remember when we were playing The Witness and someone suggested Rollers of the Realm? It's like a pinball RPG.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
It looks really cute and charming, and I love pinball, and I enjoy RPGs, and it was on sale for like $2, so I picked it up like right before the stream. I'm excited to play that.
Oh, cool.
The Fall is something I want to play. That is the game that I want to recommend for Space Theme on our next indie game discussion, which is The synopsis I would give is that you play as an AI controlling a spacesuit because the person that was wearing it is unconscious. And it is a side-scrolling action platformer, and your goal is to find, go through this abandoned facility to find medical supplies so you can revive your pilot, essentially. But the premise is so cool. Our inspiration, the guys at Giant Bomb said at the time, the year it came out, it had the best story. And so I love me a good sci-fi story, and that's gonna be really cool.
Yes, I think I watched the gameplay from it. I'm not sure if it was Giant Bomb or if it was someone else, but yeah.
I'm stoked. I can't wait.
You should definitely suggest that. Maybe I'll even put a vote in that.
I love it. And
but talking about pinball, what's your favorite pinball game?
Ooh, that's a great question. One? Yes, absolutely. I would say a good classic go-to is Attack from Mars. It is designed by just like indie games and board games, like designers of pinball games people follow the designers. They're like, ooh, I love a good blah, blah, blah designer. Yeah. But the guy who designed Attack from Mars, that is a classic game that you can find pretty commonly these days. But it's very simple. There's a UFO at the top of the playfield with a shield. You keep smacking the shield and then the shield comes down. And then once the shield comes down, then you do DPS essentially on the UFO. And then you destroy that. And then essentially the loop is just doing that. And you go around the world destroying the UFO in France and New York and LA, like that kind of stuff. And there's other things to do, but like the lights and sounds are great. The animations are great. It's just really fun. And the theme is so fun. It's so original. It's not based on a movie or anything. It's neat.
Yeah.
Are you a pinballer?
I used to be, maybe. We used to, well, at least when I was growing up, there was this cafe in my hometown called Amusement Center. Amusement Center. Yeah. Where they had a Medieval Madness. I think it's also classified as one of like the best pinballs.
Same designer as Attack from Mars. Medieval Madness.
Yeah, because the gameplay loop that you just like described, it sounds like exactly the same. You try to like storm the fort, and it's like easy to understand what to do. Because sometimes I think pinball games can be a bit too really complicated dense to understand. Like, what should I be doing? Like, and back then you didn't have like YouTube tutorials to watch and like Reddit forums to read. So yeah, I played that a lot. I would really love that game, but also. About 10 years ago when I was studying film, we used to go to this bar that had Batman: The Dark Knight.
Oh, that was a really great one. Game. Yeah, there was like a wrecking ball that came around, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really neat.
It was I really loved playing that, and like we got really competitive about that game as well. Like, okay, it's Wednesday, let's go there, and whoever loses, they're gonna buy everyone else a drink.
That's what my move for dating in pre-pandemic is there was this fantastic like pizza shop in Oakland, and if you knew the secret, you go back almost to the kitchen, and then there's a staircase, and you go upstairs where there would normally be storage, and there were like 10 pinball machines, and it's not like it's kind of a secret, but it's one of those things like if you know, you know. And I used to bring dates there. And the move is always like, you play the favorite pinball machine, and I buy 3 credits. One for her to play, then one for me to play. And the third credit is we both play. So she gets one flipper and I get the other. And that's usually, it's like a really fun, it's like my move, but like it's also like really fun.
I think it's a great activity because I was also dating a girl at that time, and I introduced the pinball place to her, and we started going there by ourselves without my classmates.
Awesome. Yeah. It's very egalitarian, right? Because whether you're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows how to play just by looking at it, right? Just hit this thing, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, like and also like if the other person is also a very competitive person, it's also really fun to beat them.
Demoralize your date. That's always a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then teabag them. Assert your dominance. Oh man.
On that note, let's finish this podcast.
Well, I got one more thing I wanted to share.
Okay.
Let's see. Solo board game is something that I've been getting into.
Oh, yeah.
I think I collect solo board games more than I play them. But recently I got this game called Spire's End. I found out through the subreddit for indie games. Or not
cool
indie games, but like solo board games. And it is essentially a choose your own adventure, but instead of through a book, it's with cards. And you have to make choices that will bring you to other cards, and you have encounters. And because that, it's very RPG dungeon crawler like, and they're like D12s, I want to say. D10s, D12s or something like that.
D8s.
D8s.
I think that's a D8.
Like really chunky, fun, cool looking, unique dice. Stat tracking.
Can I see that
cubes.
dice again?
Yeah.
But how do you... Okay, so that is that a 5?
No idea. I think it is.
That's a 3. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it could be numbers, or it could be in their language, success and fail. You know.
No, I think the dots. I'm thinking it might be the dots, but
that's so hard to look at a glance. We'll see. But I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna. It seems like a good like Sunday coffee game. Like you just set it up. Every round that you play, every story that you play through is like 30 minutes each. It says there's 6 chapters in this thing, and there's 30 minutes per chapter.
End.
Spire's End.
I'm gonna look. Spire's End. Okay. Spire's End.
Yeah, and it went through a second printing recently. So if you're interested, check it out and. Tell me what you think if they're not sold out. It's really neat. But yeah, that's Spire's End. I'm stoked. I think I will jump into that sometime soon. I highly recommend it. It comes highly recommended, actually. But with that said, that is Smalltalk for this week. Also, I just noticed something. Move to the right of your screen. Like, hang on. The other way. Like, let's combine faces. Hang on.
Wait a second. Let me.
And this is how we'll say goodbye.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, hang on. There you go. More. Yep. Hang on. Okay, say goodbye, Ilker.
Goodbye.
There you go.